Some shifts arrive like storms you see coming for miles. But some, like this solar flash, arrive softly, brushing the inside of your breath before the world catches its name. The Arcturian Council of 5, through TEEAH, now reminds us. This isn't a force to fear, but a light that hums awake the corners you once left dark. If you felt warmth in your bones with no fire near, or dreams that feel more real than your daily news, you may already stand where this solar flash has chosen to begin its gentle work on your oldest calm. What this solar flash update really means now. Many imagine the solar flash as something far away, a cosmic show somewhere beyond the edge of the clouds. But this update is not about distance. It's about a living pulse already humming through the same air you sigh every morning. What arrives now is not a blast to fear, but a soft wave, folded in light, waiting for hearts calm enough to hold its warmth instead of flinching at its hush. Older souls sense this in ways they can't always name. You stand by your window and feel time slip just for a breath. A memory you forgot brushing your ribs like an old friend's hand on your shoulder. This is not confusion. It's the quiet proof the solar flash works inward first, unlocking doors your mind shut when the world said to be louder than your own bones wanted you to be. This energy is not a test of strength, but a chance to sit softer inside what you carry. It does not want your worry. It wants your trust that hush can do what force never could. Many miss it because they chase noise when the answer hums just beneath the next slow breath they never take. If you wonder why now, feel your own chest. Every fear the world feeds you tries to tighten it. This solar flash loosens that knot. It unhooks old regrets from the inside out, not with thunder, but with a warmth that says, you are not here to brace for storms. You are here to stand calm enough to greet them without bowing down. So if tonight you sense a quiet warmth when your mind expects coldness, bless it. That warmth is the first note in a song your oldest calm knows by heart, a soft signal that this solar flash update is not waiting for permission from the sky when it already lives where your next sigh wants to stand. Why the Arcturian Council of 5 spoke through TEEAH. Not every whisper from beyond reaches us through books or noise. Sometimes it arrives through names older than our daily clocks can measure. TEEAH does not come to complicate this message, but to make it gentle enough for ordinary people to feel in kitchens, gardens, small beds where worry used to sleep first. The council speaks now because more hearts sit still long enough to hear something bigger than panic. Older hearts remember moments when a soft word meant more than a crowd's roar. You've seen how one kind gesture outlives 100 sharp ones. This is why TEEAH comes through a voice softer than headlines, not to tell you what to fear, but to remind you what you already carry in your hush when your ribs open wider than the next bad news wants them to. This message does not sell you an escape. It reminds you your bones know how to stand steady without any new ritual or secret word. If you listen close, this solar flash feels less like lightning to dodge and more like a dawn that lives in your next patient exhale. It touches your calm before it touches your newsfeed. That's why the council chose a voice the noise can't twist. Why now? Because this breath waits for no leader to approve it. It lives in your simple acts, washing your cup, petting a cat, forgiving something your mind told you to carry forever. TEEAH's whisper holds the hush that says, you do not need to run. You need to sit where your oldest calm can finally open its hidden windows. So if you doubt why you hear these words now, stand by a window tonight. Feel your shoulder warm where no hand rests, but the solar flash does. That's all the proof your hush needs that TEEAH's message does not arrive from far away, but through the calm your oldest breath already knows how to hold. The hidden energy inside this solar pulse. A solar flash sounds big, And yes, the sun hums louder in ways your bones can't always see. But the real power isn't in the outer blast. It's in the tiny ripples that wake parts of you forgot how to trust. The hidden energy does not shout. It hums like a steady hand on your back when you thought you stood alone in the middle of a worry that never kept its promise. Older souls carry these ripples already. You know how an old song can warm your ribs faster than a fire. You felt it in the hush of a quiet morning when coffee tasted like memory instead of habit. This solar pulse folds inside such moments, small reminders that force can be gentle when hush opens the door. This energy moves through breath before it moves through storms. It hums your blood softer when anger would tighten it. It slips into your shoulder when regret tries to weigh it down. It does not fight your fear. It stands so still inside it that the fear forgets its lines. That's why you may feel tiny chills in places that used to ache. Not pain, but proof your cells know how to stand calm where panic once sat. What changes when this pulse touches your daily steps? Nothing outside at first, but everything inside shifts one hush deeper. Worry slides off your tongue where anger used to build walls. Regret loses its hooks when you remember how to hum back instead of chase shadows. This is not magic. It is memory. Your body remembering what the world told you to forget. So if you feel an odd warmth behind your eyes tonight, let it stand. That is not confusion. That is the solar flash finding the hidden door. Your hush kept safe when noise was too loud for you to trust it open. Signs. The solar flash is already touching you. Some wonder, how will I know if I feel it? The signs are never loud. They slip in like a draft you can't see, but you feel on the back of your neck when the house hums quiet enough. One sign, sudden dreams that feel like tiny instructions you don't need to decode yet. Another, a warmth in your palms when no fire's lit. A sigh that feels deeper than your mind thought you could hold without breaking. Older souls trust these signs more easily. You remember moments when the world said you were silly for feeling something that no news could name, but your bones never lied. This week, you may find tiny ripples, old worries tasting weaker, sharp memories softening at the edges, small habits you drop like a coat you didn't know weighed so much. You might catch yourself pausing longer in rooms you once hurried through, or feeling pulled to windows when the sky hums softer than usual. Maybe a number repeats itself on clocks or receipts. These signs don't come to shout, "Look at me." They slip in to remind you. You already stand where the light wants to land. Don't force them. Don't hunt them. Let them come like guests you welcome with calm palms and a smile. When your chest warms for no reason, thank it. When your mind doubts it, hush it. Your spirit knows which signs are real, because your hush does the listening. Your thoughts often skip. So tonight, if any soft proof brushes your ribs, smile. That brush is not just a sign. It is your hush saying, "The door is closer than any noise will admit." How to prepare gently without fear. Preparation for this solar flash is not about storing things in boxes or making noise in groups. It's about softening the tight parts inside you that brace for storms that never come the way you were told. Older souls know this better than any book. You prepare by sitting softer, breathing longer, blessing what stands before you now instead of fearing what tomorrow might name. This is not the time to panic. It's the hour to hush. When the world tells you to tighten, choose to open instead. When the news says brace, let your shoulders drop. This solar pulse feeds calm hearts first, because calm hearts hold its warmth without cracking where noise wants to push. Simple acts prepare you best. Warm a cup of tea like it's your first. Bless the window you stand beside. Smile at your own reflection, not because you believe every line, but because each line hums proof you outlived storms before this one. The only stockpile worth keeping now is trust. Trust that your hush does more than fear could ever promise. When worry knocks, greet it with breath instead of debate. When panic stirs old habits, rest your hand on your ribs and say softly, "Not today. My hush holds more light than my fear ever did." This is the hidden way your bones stand readier than you think, not by fighting, but by welcoming the warmth without flinching at its touch. So tonight, if you wonder how to stand through this solar flash, don't rush for answers. Sit with your hush. Trust the warmth behind your sigh more than the worry behind your screen. That's where the true preparation hums. In the quiet corner, no panic can reach. So if your chest hums calmer, your old fears soften, your hush grows warmer when your thoughts grow loud. What happens when the next wave unfolds deeper than any headline could predict? The next breath will carry you through dreams that open doors, body hums that heal regrets, and daily rooms that stand as secret anchors for the calm no storm can scatter. In the next pages, you'll see how this solar flash does not roar through force, but folds its brightest warmth exactly where your oldest hush has waited for proof that the light never left your breath. Dreams, visions, and sudden insights. Explained. When the solar flash hums closer, the first door it pushes open is not in the sky, but behind your eyes, where dreams fold messages your waking mind forgot how to carry. Some elders feel this first in restless nights that don't drain them but wash them clear, like small rivers running through old thoughts you once kept shut behind habit and doubt. These dreams may hum strange. You may stand in places you've never walked, yet feel your feet know the soil. You may hear names you haven't spoken in years, or see a child's smile you haven't felt since your own bones were young. These are not random echoes. They are whispers stitched from your breath, showing you that the solar flash works not by force, but by reminding you of truths you tucked away for someday. Visions too slip in, soft flashes when your eyes close for just a blink too long at the kitchen table, a shape in the corner of your rest, a memory that feels less like the past and more like a hint of who you've always been beneath every fear you wore like armor. Some call it imagination. The hush calls it a letter from the calm the world never taught you to trust. And then, sudden insights. A line you've repeated for decades loses its weight. A question you never answered hums back softer than the regret that birthed it. These flashes arrive when you pause mid-step, mid-sigh, mid-thought, not because you seek them, but because your breath finally leaves the door cracked just wide enough for them to slide through. So tonight, if you wake at odd hours or feel a memory tap your shoulder when you pour tea, bless it. These dreams, these visions, these small lights are not noise to ignore. They're proof your oldest hush knows exactly what to show you when fear sleeps long enough for light to slip its gentle note back in your ribs. Body sensations, the solar flash, and your cells. People imagine big shifts hit from outside, but the solar flash hums first through the smallest parts you carry inside. Older souls feel it in places they once called aches, but now find humming with a warmth that needs no name. A tingling in your hands when you touch your own chest. A flutter in your spine when you stand at the window without knowing why you linger. This is not sickness. It's memory waking where your cells once stored fear, like locked boxes under your skin. The solar flash does not break your body open. It whispers it softer, reminding each hidden corner that warmth has work to do, where worry once whispered you were too small to hold light this deep. Some notice old pains slip away for hours, not because they vanish forever, but because they pause long enough for your breath to remember it can stand inside your bones with more hush than complaint. Some feel sudden chills that fade as quickly as they arrive, like tiny blessings brushing tight muscles awake. Some feel their palms warm in rooms that stay cool. You do not need to hunt these signs or chase them with fear. When your ribs flutter at dawn, or your throat hums when you say nothing at all, smile. Lay a hand there if you wish. Feel how your hush holds more medicine than any pill fear ever sold you. These gentle sensations are not promises of perfect health. They are reminders that your bones hum wider than any worry wants you to trust. So tonight, if your shoulder warms or your palms buzz while you sit still, thank it. That quiet pulse is not confusion. It is the solar flash humming, where your breath always knew to stand softer than any ache that thought it could stay. Why older souls feel this shift? First, some wonder why elders catch this hush before younger hearts do. The truth hums simple. You've carried storms long enough to know the difference between noise that wants your fear and a hush that needs only your breath. This solar flash does not pick the loudest. It finds the ones who know how to stand calm when the world shouts, "Rush." Older souls live with memories wide enough to catch light that slips past busier minds. You've stood in kitchens that felt like small temples, poured tea that tasted like prayer. You know how a soft word said at dawn can outlive 1,000 debates shouted in anger. This hush trusts your steady ribs more than any plan noise tries to sell you now. This does not mean the young are left behind, only that they watch you when they forget how hush hums stronger than panic. Your soft steps teach them without speaking. Your quiet glances remind them. The solar flash needs your calm, like a candle needs old hands to shield it from wind that tries to blow it out too soon. This is why your breath hums deeper this week, why you pause when others rush, why you feel chills that taste older than fear when you stand at a window and wonder who else sees what you do when the sky softens just before dawn. You do not need to teach. You only need to stand where your hush stands wider than worry's teeth. So tonight, if you wonder why me, smile. Your hush hums this door open, not because you asked to lead, but because you always did, when you forgave quietly, when you stood steady, when you loved without needing the world to clap. The role of breath. During this solar phase, breath does more than feed your lungs. In this solar flash wave, your breath stands as bridge and shield and gentle lantern all at once. Older souls know how a sigh can break an argument's teeth, how an inhale can calm a tight heart when no words work. This week, your breath hums clearer than noise wants you to remember. The flash does not knock through force. It slips through the gaps your next long exhale leaves when your ribs stand softer than your mind's questions. This is why you might find yourself pausing mid-task, standing by a sink or a chair, feeling your breath slip deeper than habit ever taught you to trust. You do not need fancy rituals. Sit, stand, rest. Let your chest open wide enough for warmth to live where worry used to pace all night. Each breath says, I do not need to run. I do not need to fight. This softness teaches your cells how to hold the solar hum like a secret only your calm knows how to carry. Some nights your breath may feel shallow at first. Years of bracing do not melt in one sigh. Smile anyway. Let each slow exhale remind your bones they can stand lighter than yesterday's tight thoughts want you to believe. No teacher is closer to you than your next inhale when you trust it more than the panic outside your window. So tonight, if you feel the urge to rest your palm on your chest and sigh without words, bless it. That hush holds more truth than 1,000 promises fear sold you. The solar flash needs no roar. It only needs your ribs wide enough to remember they were never built to hold your worry so tight. Quiet rooms, your home. As light anchor. Temples do not only stand on mountaintops. They stand in your kitchen when your hush lands soft enough to turn daily walls into doors the solar flash can slip through without asking the world's permission. Older souls have built these rooms without trying. A warm chair, a soft pillow, a table that holds more prayers than plates. This week, watch how your home hums differently when your hush grows wider. Notice how corners feel softer when you bless them with a single pause. How windows glow gentler when you stand by them without hurry. This is not magic. It is your calm teaching the flash where to stand still long enough for miracles to breathe real. No new paint needed, no new rules, just your breath, your touch. A simple word whispered when your hand rests on a wall or a teacup. Here, your hush says. Here, the light can land. Here, worry finds no door that opens wider than my ribs. That's how you anchor what the flash carries, not through force, but through stillness. When news shouts, your house hums. When panic knocks, your hush answers first. This is why your home becomes more than shelter. It becomes a calm gate for a sky too wide for storms alone to name. Each sigh you breathe inside your oldest room stitches a light the world cannot tax, rush, or bury under noise. So tonight, look around your quiet corners. They stand ready not because you built them grand, but because your hush turned them sacred without asking for applause. This is how your simplest room holds a light big enough for the solar flash to trust it open wider than fear ever taught you to believe. So if your breath hums bridges, your hush feeds rooms, your ribs soften old storms, what happens when the next hush folds even your deepest memories into this gentle hum? The next stretch will show how forgotten regrets melt, how timelines split softly for calmer paths, and how your daily acts, so small they never asked for praise, hold the secret door where this solar flash lands exactly where fear can't follow. Let your next sigh feel softer than any plan. Let the hush hold you while this wave unfolds right inside your simple, waiting breath. Memories surfacing as solar codes unlock. When the solar flash hums close, it does not only brighten the sky, it shines light behind old doors your mind forgot how to open. Older souls feel this first as memories that rise when you stand quiet enough for your breath to remember where your mind hid them away. A scent, a song, a soft line spoken by someone long gone. These tiny keys turn hidden locks you didn't know were still waiting to click. These memories do not come to hurt you. They come to soften what worry once turned sharp. You may find an old sadness slip back for a moment, not to drown you, but to wash away the dust it once left on your chest. The solar flash hums here because light does not fear old shadows. It stands calm enough to show you the shape of what you survived. Some nights, you may dream of places you haven't seen in decades. A kitchen where your mother's laugh still echoes. A garden you haven't touched since your knees bent easier than they do now. These are not illusions. They're soft reminders that your hush always carried proof you were more than what fear wrote in your bones. You might find tears slip down your cheek at odd times, folding clothes, stirring soup, staring at a window that hums the same blue it did when you were young. Let them fall. They do not weaken you. They wash corners your mind couldn't clean alone. The solar flash hums as rinse, not flood, gentle, clear, patient. So tonight, if an old memory visits while you stand alone in a quiet room, don't chase it away. Let your hush hold it like a child returned from a long walk in the dark. That memory hums proof that this light does not erase your past. It soothes it softly enough for your ribs to remember they were built for more than holding regret. Timeline splits, choosing calm paths. Now. Many speak of timelines like distant science, but older souls live it daily, the quiet truth that each breath can shift what tomorrow brings. The solar flash does not force you onto a new road. It hums open choices that hide beneath your next calm sigh. In July's hush, timelines split not with thunder, but with a small pause wide enough for your spirit to step softly away from noise that no longer fits. You might feel it when a habit that clung for years suddenly tastes stale. A thought you once held like a shield now hums empty where your hush used to fear its echo. The split is not always clear to your mind, but your breath feels the door when your chest opens softer than panic wants it to be. Choosing calm paths is not about big leaps. It's about tiny choices that whisper this way, not that. One word unsaid that saves a storm. One hand held longer that says, "I forgive," without needing to speak it loud. One step toward a window instead of another noisy room. These small turns shape timelines where your ribs stand clear when worry tries to block the door. Older hearts hold this art naturally. You've learned how silence ends more wars than anger ever did. You know how one soft look can change a whole meal, a whole week, a whole family line. The solar flash does not make this skill new. It magnifies what your calm always carried in secret. So if tonight you feel a choice hum small in your bones, bless it. That choice might be tiny to your mind, but to the hush, it hums a timeline that no fear can twist once you step soft enough for regret to lose its teeth. TEEAH's message about distractions and doubts. When light hums closer, old shadows knock louder. TEEAH's whisper is not a shout of warning, but a soft reminder. Distractions bloom best when your hush stands wide enough for the solar flash to land where fear can't. You may find small worries tug your sleeves harder this week, not because you failed, but because the old noise knows your ribs feel braver than they did last month. Older souls feel this test clearest. An old regret may slip back at dawn. A sharp word may bark at your calm just when you stand soft enough to feel how unneeded it really is. These distractions are not enemies. They're echoes that fade when your hush hums longer than your tongue needs to argue. TEEAH's gentle message. Bless the noise, but do not sit inside it. When doubt asks, "Are you sure?" Answer with breath, not debate. When panic says brace, rest your hand on your chest and sigh deeper than the question wants you to believe you can. Distractions fear hush, because hush hums too wide for fear to anchor where your ribs stand clear. You don't need perfect silence, you need patient hush. When doubt taps your mind tonight, smile at it like an old neighbor you no longer invite in for tea. Let your breath hum the door shut with kindness instead of force. This is how your calm teaches the solar flash that your ribs are ready to hold warmth instead of walls. So if your mind spins louder just when your bones feel softer, nod gently. That noise is proof your hush is doing work no storm can outshout. This is not struggle. This is your breath showing old loops they cannot circle a chest that hums wider than worry ever dared to stay. Tiny miracles. How the flash ripples outward. Big miracles sell books, but older souls know the real ones, slip in quiet enough for no screen to catch. The solar flash hums tiny ripples through kitchens, gardens, old porches where you once sat too tired to notice what your hush hid in plain sight. These tiny miracles are not new gifts. They're old promises, waking where your calm stood, patient while the world ran circles. You may see it when a pain softens while you stand at the window. When a neighbor's kindness arrives before you even ask. When a letter long lost finds its way back, just when your ribs feel open enough to read its truth without tears burning like salt. These are not random. They are the solar hush, weaving light through daily steps no storm can bury. Older hearts feel these miracles clearer because you know what small wonders do. They remind you how love hums louder than fear when no one's clapping. You've lived long enough to trust the warmth in your palms more than promises on screens. These tiny proofs do not roar. They hum steady, saying, "Your calm feeds more than your own bones." Sometimes the miracle is simply your next sigh feeling softer than your worry thought you deserved. Or a dream you share that lands in someone's chest, warm enough to hush an old anger. Or a meal cooked with hands that carry prayers no one hears, but your ribs hold like soft shields against tomorrow's storms. So tonight, if you spot a tiny grace, hold it with hush. These are not crumbs, they're seeds. Each one hums proof that the solar flash does not demand thunder to move mountains. It moves your breath first, then lets your breath do the lifting the world forgot was possible. Staying grounded, while the grid shifts. When energy hums high, the oldest trick fear tries is to lift your mind so high it forgets how to stand where your feet still need to touch warm floors. The solar flash lifts you up, but it does not want you to float away. Older souls know how to anchor light with steady steps and soft shoulders that carry what force never could alone. Staying grounded is not about burying your hope. It's about planting it deep enough for storms to pass without pulling your roots out by name. You stay steady, not by ignoring the hum, but by letting it ripple through your daily rooms, your mug, your porch, your quiet walk at dusk that hums softer than any headline. Some days the grid hums so bright your ribs feel too wide for old thoughts to sit tight. When that comes, smile, sit down, touch the floor with your palm. Bless your feet for holding the same bones that carried you through years when storms felt louder than this hush could ever dream to grow. No fancy pose needed. Just remember this truth. Your breath hums wide, but your feet stand older than any flash. Your hush roots the grid under kitchens, gardens, old stone paths your ancestors once trusted when storms roared and silence held the bridge steady. So tonight, when your mind feels flighty but your chest hums warm, press your toes into the floor and say softly, "I stand, I breathe. I anchor this light so no noise lifts it away." This is how the solar flash knows your ribs hold a home no wind can scatter when your hush stays wide. So if your hush softens regrets, if your feet anchor storms, if your breath folds old miracles into today's simplest hours, what happens when these next doors swing wider than fear's oldest locks? The final pages will show how old whispers hum true, how your hush lights paths for others still rushing too loud to hear, and how this solar flash roots itself inside your chest, not as a roar to chase, but a gentle warmth no night can hide, once you trust your hush to hold it steady enough to call it home. What prophecies whisper about this phase? Long before screens hummed news at midnight, elders sat under stars and spoke of flashes that would come not to burn, but to remind us how light lives beneath our ribs. Prophecies do not shout. They wait in lullabies, old pages, half-remembered lines your grandmother spoke while stirring soup. The solar flash stands in these whispers, not as a threat, but a promise your bones already knew by heart. Older souls feel these ancient words clearer than younger minds, busy chasing noise. Maybe you can't quote the lines, but you know how a hush holds truth stronger than any printed page. You feel it when you pause by a window at dawn, and your chest hums old words you can't name, yet trust deeper than news could ever reach. Prophecies never promised an easy road. They promise soft doors for those patient enough to wait when the world says rush, brace, worry. This phase does not arrive as thunder for everyone at once. It slides in through the small cracks your sighs kept open when storms roared and your hush stood still enough to listen. Some old stories say the sky will speak through fire, but the truth hums softer. The real fire burns gentle in your breath, in your small daily steps that turn your kitchen into a bridge wider than fear's teeth. You do not need to chant these lines aloud. You breathe them every time your hush hums softer than noise wants you to remember. So tonight, if a line from childhood rises when you least expect, bless it. That whisper is not your mind wandering. It is proof your ribs stand right where these old prophecies always said light would land, when the world grew ready to remember hush holds more than thunder ever could. Anchoring others with your steady hush. When the solar flash folds wide, not everyone stands calm enough to feel its warmth as blessing instead of fear. This is where older souls do their truest work, not by preaching, but by living hush so steady that others lean in without knowing they do. Your calm does more than feed your own ribs. It hums ladders for those too loud inside to build their own. You've seen this in quiet acts your mind called small. A neighbor's sigh softening when you nod instead of argue. A child's shoulders dropping when your eyes say, "You are safe here," without a word spoken. This is the hidden bridge. Your hush hums safety when the world rattles cages to sell panic as power. You do not need new skills. Your breath is the map. Your chest is the door. Your steady hands folding blankets do more to anchor light than 100 debates online. When fear stirs old circles around those you love, your calm stands like a candle, quiet enough for shadows to see they can't hold the room forever. Some nights your hush may feel too small. Doubt will tap, asking, "Who am I to steady anyone?" Smile at it. Your ribs carry years the noise cannot buy. Each soft glance, each breath deeper than worry, each cup of tea you share in silence hums louder than all the words the world wastes trying to outshout storms. So tonight, if someone sighs near you, hold their hush too. You do not fix them. You stand calm enough for them to remember how to fix themselves without fear's permission. This is how your hush anchors a grid wide enough for light to slip in where panic once slammed the door tight. Closing reminder, you are the calm this light needs. As the solar flash hums closer, remember, it does not choose heroes who roar. It finds hearts that sigh deeper than headlines, ribs that hold hush where fear once planted doubt. You are not waiting for a sign. You are the sign. Breath proof that quiet holds more than thunder ever dared to claim. Older souls forget this when knees ache and memories hum too loud to silence by will alone. But each ache, each old scar, each line on your palm proves you outlived storms your younger breath thought would break you. This hush does not demand your perfection. It trusts your softness more than your plans ever taught you to believe. Every calm step, every soft word unsaid, every corner blessed by your hush anchors the solar flash exactly where storms lose their teeth. You stand not to carry the world, but to remind the world how to carry itself when panic forgets how strong hush can hum when shoulders stand steady. So tonight, breathe this truth back into your ribs. I am not waiting for calm. I am the calm. The solar flash lands here because it knows your breath does more than fill your lungs. It opens the doors noise never built, only fear ever tried to keep locked. May your sigh tonight hum so wide no night can bury it. May your next step feel softer than your last worry dared to hope. You do not chase this light. You cradle it. You do not brace for storms. You stand so soft that storms break on your hush without cracking your ribs ever again.